Happy Friday, everyone. It's PJs and Crime. How many of you got your PJs on tonight? I'm wearing my favorite Timu shirt right now. Yep. Had my favorite Timu shorts on yesterday, but they're in the laundry. Hello to everyone. Rosie and Joan and Annie, happy birthday. And Nisi from Free Handley Maid and Marty Bell is hooked. And who else? Chelsea's here. Hey, Chelsea. And Margaret's here. Danny Banani is here. Lorna. Hey, Lorna. Aw, so happy to see everybody. You got your PJs on. Okay. What y'all drinking tonight? Got coffee or anything stronger? It's Friday night after all. PJs are on. Got caught out in the rain. Oh my goodness. I'm glad you got some rain. Rain is always welcome here in Texas. It really is. Yep. They show the ads no matter what. Hey, Suzanne. Karen B is here. Yay, you made it. Eating apple and peanut butter. Oh, that sounds good. You know, I bought some apples and I need to get into those. Hey, Maureen. Suzanne's got ginger ale. I have got something y'all won't be able to guess what I've got in my Texas cup. I got my new hat on, Chels. I forget now where we got it. Was this at Hobby Lobby? It's the first chance I've had to wear it. Oh, that coffee's good. That coffee's good. I broke into the community coffee. It is Mardi Gras king cake. It's so good. Delicious. And then I have Gatorade in the other one. Because you know I'm always two-fisting it here. Was it Walmart? You know, we went to a lot of places. It could even have been Target for all I know. Sharon, oh, so good to see you. I was thinking about you today, thinking I haven't seen my friend Sharon around anywhere. Good to see you. Hey, Joyce. Well, then again, I haven't seen all y'all. Been busy. Been just a little busy. That means we got a lot of catching up to do tonight. At least for me. Sandy, hugs, hugs, hugs. How are you tonight? I'm so glad you are here. Hey, Heather. How is my Canadian friend Heather doing? You doing all right up there? I hope you are not affected by all of those nasty smokes that are going around, all that stuff. I hope you are okay up there. Oh my gosh, you sent out the sunflower stuff? I bet you've just been kind of busy, right? She sent out the sunflower stuff. Oh, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. I'm going to show you guys my hands because we got to talk about my project. I have not worked on my project, and I'm going to tell you why. I honestly cannot get this straight in my head. Especially for a project that I'm going to be over here and I'm going to be talking while I'm doing this, this thing is just not me. We're just not going to get along for this. And just to remind you, I'm using the James C. Brett Marble Chunky, and this is my favorite color. It's MC45. Okay. And I still want to do something simple with it and just let this beautiful yarn speak for itself. Okay. So it's coming out. It's coming out. It was supposed to be the parallelogram shawl where I decrease on one side and I increase on the other side. And y'all, I just can't keep that straight in my head while we're doing this. I just can't. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to do something very simple. And I'm going to start it here with you guys. And then you guys can see, we'll see how it grows, because it will grow. And when it gets as big as I want it to be, which is probably going to be, I'm thinking this is going to be another baby blanket. And when it gets to that size, then it's going to be enough, then we will decrease it. You were affected, but far enough from the fires, dealing with wedding drama currently and final planning. Oh my gosh. Whew. Yes. That is drama sometimes. Take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. That's all I can say. Wedding stuff is wild. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're still going to have these needles, which, good Lord, I have no idea. Does anybody remember what size I was using? Because you know I can't see them. 6.0 millimeter or a size 10. This is my chai goo. I believe this is a 24-inch. What are we going to talk about tonight? Okay. I'm going to put my slip knot on. We're going to make a couple of stitches by bringing that yarn around. Here's our new stitch. I'm going to take that, bring it around, put it up on that needle. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to start this with 3 stitches because we are going to start with the grandma's dishcloth pattern, and we're going to make a baby blanket out of it. Yeah, the Lori Daybell hearing is coming up. Man, you guys, I have got so much. I'm actually going to refer over here. I've got some things bookmarked if we get to them all, okay? Because there is no saying that we're actually even going to get to all of this stuff. Schabusiness starts Monday. Monday. The Long Island serial killer, which is LISK. They believe that they have caught him. And also Sarah Boone, I believe that they have put her, they've delayed her stuff again until October the 2nd. Okay, that's been delayed till October the 2nd. So we're not going to hear nothing from Sarah Boone for a while, it seems. Okay, hang on. You ready for Monday? Which one is that? Janelle Demons. I don't even know what that one is. Waiting for the Tracy trial. Okay. I did see that Nate had something on like earlier this evening, but I was not able to watch that. Yes. So Sarah Boone she wrote another, y'all, her and her letters. Okay. Now to start this, you guys, we are going to knit these 3 stitches and turn. I always put the stitches on and then I always knit them once before I start. Yep, but he let her hand him that letter. He sure did. Yeah, I figured Nate was talking about that because I saw it was something about Lori. Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that. Melly the rapper on trial for killing 2 of his childhood friends in. Yeah. Yeah, didn't they finish that up, Denny? Aren't they going to do the sentencing now? I want to say they finished that. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry you don't feel good. Hugs to you, friend. Feel better. I hate that. Okay, so they are deliberating. I was thinking I had heard that. Yeah. I don't think that kid stands a chance if you ask me, but I did not listen to that trial. Okay? So, I have no idea. Okay, so after you knit the 3 stitches, then you're going to knit the first one, and then the second stitch gets a knit in the front, bring that around, and a knit in the back. So it's a knit front and back, and then knit again. And that's what you're going to do for the whole thing. So knit the first one, knit through the front, knit through the back, and knit across. And that is the entire thing. Now, if you wanted to do this where it had some lace on the sides, you would do a yarn over. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to think about it. I just want to go. You do need some distraction, Sandy. We're here for it. We are here for it. Yep. That Russell case was really weird, right? That was really weird. The Russell case, I watched the news briefing and the officer, I think he had like a pink outfit on. He was very thorough, and all of the things that he said implicated her as having this been a big hoax. They just haven't figured out where she went during those 48 hours. Carly Russell. Well, at least she is safe. We can say it that way, right? Hubby's. Okay, wait. Annie says her hubby's son in law's cousin. Okay. So your hubby's son in law had a cousin, and that baby passed away last week. And today they arrested the babysitter, and they think that she killed him. Good grief. Good grief, Annie. I'm so sorry. That's family. I'm so sorry. I feel like that's what she was doing, was covering up her stealing and her bad behavior, that she was having some sort of a mental thing going on, I think. That Carly Russell. Yeah, people do care. Exactly. Yeah, that is just awful. Okay, so Sarah Boone, all we know is they found a doctor that will actually testify, and they were talking about for the defense, okay? And that doctor said that they will testify that she has PTSD from being abused by George, the boyfriend that she put in the suitcase. If you don't know, I was talking about Sarah Boone, who is the suitcase murderer. So they have to put that off again until that doctor is certified by the court, or I don't know, whatever. They did find some. They were having a hard time even finding a doctor that would testify. So I find that part of it extremely interesting, that nobody would even testify. So that was odd already. Okay, so that's what that hearing was, and then nothing will happen with her until October 2nd. I know, Annie. I know. The kids. I know, exactly. Yep, when it comes to the kids, we just we don't tolerate that at all. Even prisoners in prison don't tolerate prisoners that have yeah. Nobody likes that. Yeah, they found somebody, Chels, but we'll see how that goes. All right. What else? Okay, I was talking about Sarah Boone. I talked about hang on, because I got everything kind of pulled up on my phone here. So let me take her out of the picture, take that out of the picture. Now, that out of the picture. That leaves us with the two that I have said we were going to talk about tonight. Okay. I did, but I forgot why Chad's court hearing got canceled. Man, I've already lost that. That one has left my brain, Nisi. If somebody else can remember why that happened, put it in the comments, please. Because I do know it's just it slipped right on by this week because my dad was here. So for those that are listening and they're like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Just remember that I have had company all week. I have not really had time to pay attention to trials and stuff until the last few days. So I'm playing catch up. I'm just playing catch up. That's all there is to it. And those of you that are watching and listening, I appreciate your being here too. Thank you so very much. Okay, now I want to talk about Schabusiness quickly because I know that she's going to be going. She's competent. Let's put it that way. She is competent to stand trial. The judge said that just today. So now they are going forward. And that is Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hours before the jury selection was to begin. This is a dismemberment case. The judge ruled that Taylor Schabusiness is competent to stand trial in the killing of her boyfriend, lover, someone who did drugs with her. They had a relationship for sure. The general consensus is that she be crazy, y'all. She is bipolar, and I am in no way making fun of anyone who has a mental deficiency. Not at all. She is bipolar, but she be crazy. That is for sure. And whatever she did, she has been leading up to this sort of thing for a long time. She is just rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. Can we put it that way? That's about how I would gauge her behavior over the last few years. Hey, Susan. Thank you, Annie. So, whoever said it, stalling, that was it. So, I just want to do a little bit of a prep here going forward to Schabusiness for next week. So here's what we're going to do. Give me a second here. I'm going to get this up on my screen real quick. I don't know why I lost it, but I did. I had it ready, and then I lost it. Okay, this is Taylor Schabusiness. This is her criminal complaint. So this would be when she was arrested. This is the criminal complaint against her, what she is charged with. Got to find my mouse so I can let y'all see it. All right. I really want to make this bigger. I don't know that I can. So, first degree intentional homicide. I don't know what they mean by repeater. The above named defendant on or about Wednesday, February the 23rd of 2022 in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did cause the death of the victim with intent to kill that person. And upon conviction shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. Further invoking the provisions, Wisconsin because the defendant is a repeater, having been convicted of battery or threat to a judge, prosecutor, or law enforcement officer in Brown County, which conviction remains of record and unreversed, the maximum term of imprisonment for the underlying crime may be increased 6 years if the prior conviction was for a felony. And you know that she attacked her lawyer, the last lawyer. The above named defendant on or about Wednesday, February 23rd, 22 in city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did dismember a corpse with the intent to conceal a crime, and upon conviction may be fined not more than $25,000 or imprisoned not more than 12 years and 6 months or both. So we've got first degree intentional homicide and mutilating a corpse. And I believe repeater means that she is a repeated offender in this county. Third degree sexual assault. Now, they worked really hard trying to get this off of here, and they were not successful. The above named defendant on or about Wednesday, the 23rd of February, 22, city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, did have sexual intercourse with the victim without that person's consent. And the reason they wanted that thrown out was because it was after he was dead. And the other side argued that it was not sexual assault since he was dead, but in the state of Wisconsin, it is. Can be fined not more than $25,000 or imprisoned for not more than 10 years or both, and further invoking the provisions the state of Wisconsin because the defendant is a repeater, having been convicted of battery or threat to a judge, remain a record, maximum term of imprisonment for the underlying crime may be increased 4 years if the prior conviction was for a felony. And that complainant is an assistant district attorney with the Brown County District Attorney's Office and knows of the above offense on information and belief based upon probable cause. The complainant, being duly sworn on oath, swears that he has had the opportunity to review the police reports from officer of the Green Bay, Wisconsin Department, other documents supporting this complaint, types of reports, documents, ordinary business. Okay. Your complainant's review of the report of Officer Alex Wanish of the Green Bay Police Department indicates February 23rd, about 3:25 a.m., Officer Wanish was dispatched to a residence that is located in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, for a report of a severed head being found in a bucket in the basement. Upon arrival, Officer Wanish met with TP. I don't know who TP is, who allowed officers into the residence. That may be his mother. Officer Wanish reports he went down to the basement. Once he reached the bottom of the stairs, Officer Wanish observed the plastic bucket on the floor. Officer Wanish observed a shower beach towel over the bucket. Officer Wanish lifted the towel and observed a human head inside the bucket. Wanish looked around the room and observed what appeared to be dried blood on a nearby mattress. Your complainant's review of the report of Officer Garth Russell of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that on February 23rd, Officer Russell was asked to assist by going to a residence on Eastman Avenue in the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Officer Russell gathered information that a person identified as Taylor D. Schabusiness Date of birth 11/23/97, who was last seen with the victim, may be living at the Eastman Avenue address. Officer Russell also learned there was a van associated with Schabusiness. Officer Russell reviewed a prior photograph of Schabusiness. Officers inspected the van, saw Schabusiness emerge from the apartment building, and upon seeing officers, she stopped. Officer Russell could see that Schabusiness had what appeared to be dried blood on the front of her black hooded sweatshirt, as well as her black sweatpants. Officer Russell later found Schabusiness' hands appeared to be smeared with blood as well, and there was also what looked like dried blood on the back of her sweatshirt. Officer Russell asked Schabusiness if she knew why officers were there, and she stated something like, "Because of my warrant for my arrest?" Review of the report of Detective Jenna Luberta of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that Detective Luberta received additional information that TP told patrol officers that Schabusiness' van, which had been parked outside her address for a day or so, was gone. Patrol and other detectives were at an address on Eastman Avenue where the van Schabusiness had been using was parked and where Schabusiness had been taken into custody, and the van was later examined. Detective Luberta reports that in the rear passenger seat behind the driver's seat there was a crock pot box. Medical examiner Dr. Vincent Tranchita went to the box, which was on top of a laundry basket of clothes, and located additional human parts, including legs. I gotta take a break here. Hang on. I don't know, Chelsea, because it's not giving me that option here. And it's at 100%. Wait, did that make it any better? Hold on. That's a little better. That's 200. How's that? It's actually down here in the bottom on this one. I did find it though. Okay, complaints review of the report by Detective Bill Scanlon of the Green Bay Police Department indicates Detective Scanlon summarized evidence obtained during a search warrant executed at the residence of the City of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, where the victim was located. Detective Scanlon reports that during the search, a human head severed from the neck was located in a bucket in the basement near the stairs. The head was identified visually in comparison with a prior photograph of the victim, and it was confirmed to be the victim. According to Dr. Tranchita, there was visual evidence of strangulation observed. Also located in the same bucket was a male organ, along with body fluid and 2 knives. Other body parts were found in the basement in other bags, including plastic shopping bags, along with 3 knives, including a bread knife consistent with kitchen knives. Located in a storage tote, an upper torso was located. The upper torso had numerous rigid cuts at the site where the head was removed, consistent with the separated head. Also located in the tote was a carving knife, consistent with a kitchen knife, and several internal organs. Also located in the search was what appeared to be significant blood staining on an unsheeted top bed mattress, along with what appeared to be the site of previously cleaned up blood on a concrete surface next to and under a significant portion of the bed. Evidence of drug use was observed in the open on the top of the entertainment center, including a glass pipe and a gem bag containing, now gem as in GEM, containing light colored powder material. Also observed was evidence of blood around a stand-up shower located in the unfinished portion of the basement, and what appeared to be numerous blood drops were visible on the concrete floor in front of the shower that appeared to have been partially wiped or washed away. Detective Scanlon reports that during the search, he stayed in contact with Detective Groff and Detective Kempf, who at the time were questioning Taylor Schabusiness. Detective Scanlon reports that based on Schabusiness statements and officers' observations at the scene, Detective Scanlon found the information Schabusiness was saying to be consistent with officers' findings during the search of the basement. Your complainant's review of the reports of Detective David Groff of the Green Bay Police Department indicates on February 23rd of 2022, Detective Groff reports that he met the victim's mother. Okay, that is the mother. TP is the mother. And we know that she's the one that found his head and his organ in the bucket. Bless her heart. I cannot imagine how terrible this was for her. I just cannot imagine. TP stated that around 9:30 p.m. on Monday, February the 21st, I think I could bring myself back in over here and you can still see. Oh, his mother. I know. She is definitely going to need counseling. I know. I don't know how she did all of that and not. Yes, exactly, Sharon. Exactly. How did she not? She stated, now this his mother says around 9:30 p.m. on Monday the 21st, Taylor Schabusiness came and picked up the victim, her son. She stated that was the last time she saw him alive. She stated her boyfriend told her that sometime Monday night into Tuesday, the victim and Schabusiness had returned to the home and went into the basement. She believed that Schabusiness and the victim were in the basement during the day on Tuesday. She stated she did not go into the basement, but she did recall hearing Schabusiness talking at one point. She stated she and her boyfriend were out of the house during the day on Tuesday. She stated that there was a minivan parked on the road in front of the house during that time, and she was not sure if it was Schabusiness's. She stated sometime between 2:30 and 3 a.m. that morning, this would have been on February 23rd, she was awoken by a door being slammed. She stated she heard a vehicle and she assumed it was Schabusiness's. She stated she got out of bed, saw the light in the basement was still on. She went to see if the victim was still there because she thought Schabusiness had left. She went into the basement and did not see anyone, so she started to walk back up the stairs, and that was when she noticed a bucket next to the bottom of the stairs. She removed a blanket that was over the bucket, and she discovered the head of the victim. Detective Groff reports he was then informed that Taylor Schabusiness was located by patrol officers and brought to the station. Officer Russell informed Detective Groff that Schabusiness had a large amount of what he believed to be blood on her clothing. Groff observed Schabusiness had a cut on her left thumb. also observed some scratches on her arms and hand that, according to Schabusiness, were self-inflicted. Groff also noticed on Schabusiness' hands a red substance stain that he believed to be blood. Detective Groff spoke with Schabusiness after advising her of her rights. Told Schabusiness that a few hours ago officers were sent to a residence in Green Bay in which the head of the victim was found. Schabusiness' response was, "That is pretty fucked up." Detective Groff asked Schabusiness if she knew the victim, and she said she did. Detective Groff confirmed with Schabusiness that she lives on Eastman Avenue, and the van that was located there was her roommate's, ST's van. Oh, good Lord. I did not know that was the roommate's van. Detective Groff confirmed with Schabusiness that she drove ST's van to Eastman Avenue early in the morning. Detective Groff asked where the rest of the victim's body was, and Schabusiness stated that it was still in the basement. Groff asked her to tell him what happened, and her first comments to Detective Groff were, "That's a good question," because she had blacked out during that time. Groff asked Schabusiness if it was just her and the victim in the basement, and she said that it was, and that nobody else had come down. She stated that she and the victim were smoking the bitch, which Detective Groff was able to clarify with Schabusiness that he believed she was referring to methamphetamine. She stated that the victim had a chain that he had put around his neck. They were getting to sexual intercourse. The strangulation part was part of the act. She stated she and the victim had used strangulation this way in the past. Good night, Sandy. Hugs to you. You take care of yourself. Now, did you guys see that? She says that he put the chain around his neck. That is going to be interesting when it comes out at trial. Groff asked Schabusiness questions about her using ST's minivan and asked if she and the victim had contact with anybody when they first got back to the house. Schabusiness then made the statement, "Damn the head. And I can't believe I left the head, though," referring to the victim's head. Groff asked Schabusiness where the rest of the body was, and she stated it was in the basement. She responded that the police were going to have fun trying to find all of the organs as she dismembered the body. She stated all of the body parts should be in the basement. There should be a foot or leg in the minivan. Groff asked Schabusiness what she did with the head, and she stated she put the victim's head in a black bucket and put a blanket over it. I hope I'm not missing any questions, you guys. I will ask you again here in just a little bit. Not really sure how many. Oh, we're almost done. There's 6 pages and we're on page 5. Okay, so hang tight. So Groff asked how Schabusiness dismembered the body, and she stated she used knives that she obtained from the kitchen of the residence, and that a bread knife worked because the best because of the serrated blade. She stated the knives should be in a black bag along with the body parts in the basement. She indicated that she would use whatever bag she found in the basement to place the body parts into. She made a comment that at one point she did get paranoid and lazy, and that she thought it was the dope that made her paranoid. Schabusiness described that she and the victim were in the basement and that the victim produced 2 chains, one for him and one for her. She described the chains at the time as being chain link and silver. She would later describe the chains as being like a dog choke collar. She stated she went crazy, referring to strangling the victim, At one point during the interview, Schabusiness stated she could feel the victim's heart beating still as she was choking him, so she kept pulling and choking him harder. But the victim would not die, and that he just kept rebuilding into muscle. Detective Groff asked at what point did she know that the victim was not alive anymore. She stated that the victim's face turned purple, blood was coming out of his mouth, but she did not stop. Groff asked why she did after the victim died. She stated what she did after the victim died, and she stated that she then played with his body. She sucked the victim's penis. She had a dildo that she put in the victim's mouth and then in his ass. Groff asked Schabusiness if when she was choking the victim, if he tried to fight back at all, and Schabusiness stated that he did. When she was choking him, and she said he did. That's important, because to me, if he was fighting, hold on, because I believe that if he was fighting back, that goes straight to murder. That has a lot to do with the charges and what they can get her on. If she recognizes the fact that he was fighting back, that's huge. Okay. Yeah. This trial is not going to last long. Just saying. Schabusiness. Okay. Sorry. Whoop. Go back. Schabusiness stated that she and a friend picked up the victim in ST's minivan. After picking up the drugs, the three went to the Eastman Avenue apartment. Schabusiness stated that she, her friend, and the victim smoked marijuana, and she and the victim smoked some methamphetamine. Schabusiness' friend left. Schabusiness reported that she then shot up herself and the victim with trazodone. She shot up herself and the victim. She stated she and the victim left her apartment on Eastman and drove to the victim's mom's house in ST's minivan. Geez, you guys, these people were on the road. They went to the basement. She stated the victim's mother's boyfriend let her and the victim into the house. Schabusiness stated that it was about 5 minutes after they arrived that the victim pulled out the chains. She stated that she then began to choke the victim, and she described it as the victim lying face down on the bed with her on top of him, pulling on the end of the chain. The victim coughed up blood, and she was just waiting for him to die while she was watching his face. She made the comment that she was already this far, so she just kept on, referring to choking the victim. She said in a lower tone of voice, "Yeah, I liked it." Detective Groff believed her to be referring to when she was choking the victim. She stated she thought it took 3 to 5 minutes for the victim to die. Detective Kempf clarified with Schabusiness that when the victim began to cough up blood, she just did keep on choking the victim because she wanted to see what happens, and Schabusiness made comments that she blacked out while choking the victim, but when she woke up that the victim was already purple, so she kept on going. And she stated she enjoyed choking him and made comments to the detectives asking if they knew what it was like to love something so much that you kill it. She stated she played with the body for like 2 or 3 hours, which included all the things I told y'all just a minute ago. Groff clarified with Schabusiness that she was in the basement with the victim all during the day of Tuesday and Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and then dismembered the victim's body. And she stated that the plan was for her to bring all of the body parts with her, but she got lazy and only ended up putting the leg, foot in the van and forgot the head. She made comments that she did not mean to kill the victim, but as she was choking him, she liked it and she would just keep doing it. Also made the comment that she was not prepared as killing the victim was random. She had the victim's body on the bed in the basement, and she pulled him to the edge of the bed, put the black bucket underneath his head when she was cutting it off. Talked about using a bucket and a tote to catch the blood, and that she would use the shower in the basement to dump out the bucket. She was asked if she thought it was the right thing to do, and her comment was that she did it anyway, referring to the killing of the victim. Complainant's review of the records of the Wisconsin Circuit Court Access Program website, which records are presumed truthful, unreliable, as they are kept in the normal and ordinary course of departmental business. These records indicate that the defendant, Taylor Schabusiness, was the defendant in Brown County, and this case number, okay. There we have it. She is definitely, she be crazy, y'all. She be crazy. And it is, this is not, honestly, it's going to be gruesome, like you just heard. Completely gruesome. It's going to be, I hate it for the jurors. I think this is one of the most gruesome things I've heard in a long time for a trial. It is really hard to understand. Really hard to understand. I keep going back to the drugs, but I don't think that's all of it. I really don't think that's all of it. And I don't think the judge thinks so either, because when his comments today about in the hearing about her state of mind, he said that he looked at the things that she said and that they asked her and her demeanor and all of that. And he said she's completely competent. So, yeah. I feel like that Iris for I couldn't see that stuff and be on the jury. I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the drugs definitely enhanced her craziness, right? She just went right over the top and said, I'm just going with it. It's part of the experience of this trip, right? That's kind of the gist of, I mean, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, and I don't want to call this something that it's not. But in my humble opinion, it was part of the experience for her. That's exactly what that seems like to me. Got to refresh. That was a lot of talking. And y'all, let's see, where are we at right now? We're almost at an hour. And depending on how you feel about it, I have all of the stuff from the Long Island serial killer. I want to at least talk about that because it's coming. I don't know when that will be. Nobody really knows whether this guy is going to go to trial or not. Okay. Oh, Denny, I don't know how you did that. I didn't see anything. So here's the thing. It had to have been a part of the experience with what she did to the body after she knew he was dead. Okay, you're up for it? Oh, way too far. And there's a lot of it going around, Sharon. There's a lot of that going around. We've been talking about it with BTK. And, our girl, we've been reading her book. That is Carrie Rawson, who is the daughter of BTK. She has been on all of the news stuff this week. Now that they have arrested someone for the Gilgo Beach murders, they are calling him, everyone is calling him the Long Island serial killer. Of course, it remains to be seen. He has to have his day in court. That guy is really creepy. I saw one clip of him. It was a business thing that he did. He did a video and it was like a business thing. And he was talking to a reporter and the reporter was all, trying to be very upbeat and, well, tell us, I mean, this is not really, it's kind of a boring kind of thing, right? It's, this whole business thing. And this guy was really creepy. Just saying. Oh. And his wife has already filed for divorce. What does that tell you? Yes. Watched a bit and catching up with the interviews of the neighbor. I have not seen that one yet. Total madness. It is, I feel like this hype that's going on right now because they have arrested someone for at least 4. Okay. There's 3 charges and 1 that they're working on. And everyone is talking about the fact that he's going to get more charges, that they really feel like they're going to charge more. We really need to slow it down and wait and see. And that's part of what Carrie was talking about, Carrie Rawson. She said, everybody needs to just step back and let them do their job and just hope that there will be resolve for some of these families. And I think she's absolutely right, you guys. I would play her interviews on some of the other things, but allergies. I'm still waiting for an ENT appointment. But I don't know that I'll be able to play those videos and not get a strike. So I'm really going to kind of hold off on that for the moment. But if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, Carrie Rawson, BTK's daughter, we've been reading her book. I think we're all done with it. If you guys want to know the truth, I'm pretty well sure we're done with it because Stephen Keogh's book is out. Did y'all know it? I'm going to swing over to book club for just a minute. Hold on. I'll get you a picture. If you were not aware, I had Stephen Keogh here on the channel, and he has already said that he would like to come back. You would like to come back, you guys. Here is the book, Murder Investigation Team, Jack the Ripper, a 21st Century Investigation by Stephen Keogh. That's what it looks like. I got the Kindle version. I can't wait to start reading it. And he said he would come on. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that before I forgot. Let me pull up. Why did I get rid of that? I keep getting rid of that other page that I'm using. So let me get it back. And let me find this. There's a lot here, you guys. I very first heard about this case listening to a podcast, okay? Y'all know me and my true crime thing, listen to all the podcasts, and I also watched a documentary on the Lost Girls. And the Lost Girls were sex workers on Long Island. This goes back to the early 2000s. And a lot of these girls things just did not get investigated like they should have. There was a lot of problem in the department at the time. I believe there was a little bit of complacency going on. This is what a lot of people are saying. Serbs, are you on the bone? Is it time? Is it time? It's time, y'all. I got to go do this thing real quick. I will be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a second and kind of get caught up to what you guys know, if you don't mind putting in there some of the things that you've been watching, to get caught up on what's going on with you. Let's go. Where is it? Where is it? Could you guys hear him barking? It's time. I don't know if you guys could hear him. Oh my gosh. Mr. Fiber's taking care of it for me. Oh, yep, it was the green donut time. 8 o'clock is when we do the green donut, otherwise known as green toy. Oh, was it good? I didn't realize, honestly, Karen, I didn't realize it had been uh, released. What the Dead Know. Interesting. I need to write that down. Barbara, I like her. Ooh, I might have to change my pin. Oh, so there's a lot of personal stuff too. That's interesting. Thank you. So there are a lot of podcasts on the Long Island serial killer. There are a lot of theories. There are a lot of people speculating. There's a lot of it's just a lot, okay? And right now it's just ballooning. It's just ballooning like crazy. So we're really going to have to wait and see what happens and kind of keep. He's back with the green toy. Did y'all see him come by? He's going to be over there eating that now. So I want to show you, there is a bail document that came out. Now, This bail document has 32 pages. All right. We may just wind up doing part of it. I don't know how far we will get with it, but this will give you an idea, a little bit of an idea of where we're at with this arrest of Rex Heuermann. That is the closest way that I have found that it is being pronounced, and that is Heuermann. And they are charging him with 3 murders and possibly a 4th. And those are known as the Gilgo 4. And those 4 were laid out on Gilgo Beach around 500 feet apart from each other were their graves, wrapped in burlap sacks. And they have all of that in common. And from what I understand, they also have DNA that has been found on them that matches Rex Heuermann. So we're going to start with that. Okay, we're going to start with that. I know that's just a little bit from what y'all know, because y'all have been getting caught up and I have missed it. And her, can you imagine being his wife? First of all, her hair is on the victims. And this was what Carrie was talking about. Carrie Rawson was talking about how horrible it is for the family when someone is arrested, much less before they're even convicted. But to start hearing these things that are coming out, to find out that this person that you thought was someone else, and then you're like, that it's an entire shock to the system. She talked about how she had been in shock and shaking most of 5 days after she heard about this. And we've read this in her book. Yes, pitch dark out there. Absolutely. Well, you can. Yep. Oh, they went to the book launch. Well, that's nice. That's good. And Patricia Cornwell, they're talking about that book, you guys. I'm just looking at stuff before I open this other window for you guys, okay? He's coming. I'm going to open it. Just a second. Sandy, good to see you. Hello from Cincinnati. Well, I'm so glad to see you. It's been a long time, friend. Glad you're here. Glad you are here. Okay, let's take a look at these documents. Here we go. Rex Heuermann, defendant, stands before the court, charged by the grand jury with murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Code, Class A violent felony for the death of Melissa Barthelemy. I don't really know how to say her name correctly, so forgive me if I don't say these names right. I do apologize. On or about July the 10th of 2009. First degree murder in violation of New York State Penal Code, Class A violent felony for the death of Megan Waterman on or about June the 6th of 2010. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York Penal Code, Class A violent felony for the death of Amber Costello on or about September 2nd, 2010. Murder in the second degree a Class A violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew on July 10th of 2009. So they've got him on first degree for all three girls, okay? And then they've got him on second degree for all three girls. I am not familiar enough with the system in Long Island that I can tell you why there are those charges. It's something that I will have to make a point to do more investigating on, because I don't understand why there's both of those, unless it is if he is not convicted of one, he can be convicted of the other. I understand that to be the case in some other places. Whether that's the case in New York, I don't know. Oh, well, glad you're back, Rosie. As described, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, and they're calling it a serial murders, planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, his recent searches for sadistic materials, child pornography, images of the victims and their relatives, counter surveillance conducted online as to the criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner email and cell phone accounts, and his access to and history of possessing firearms, the only means to ensure that defendant Rex A. Howard is returned to court is to remand him without bail. Discovery of the victims. December the 11th of 2010, police officer John Mallia was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner Blue along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be that of Melissa Bartholomew. 2 days later, on December the 13th, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Bartholomew was recovered. On that date, members of the SCPD found 3 additional sets of remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. These 3 additional sets of remains were identified as those as Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The cause of death of all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. Now you can see here here's a map. You've got Maureen is number 1. Melissa is number 2. I don't know if you'll be able to see. You guys can't see me pointing. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see them, but this is my little pointer right here. So Maureen was here. Melissa was here. Megan was here. And Amber was here, number 4. Okay. And this tells you the length. Wow, I don't know if that's meters, maybe 1,415 meters between 4 and 3. And then how far they were from the road. It looks like that's what these other numbers up here are, but I'm only guessing. 33 feet, 27 feet, 22 feet, and 29 feet from the pavement. Okay? That's a little stretch of pavement that they're pointing out. That's kind of what I think it is too, you guys, in case they can't prove the first one, that they get the second one. Now, we'll have to look up for the state of New York what those charges mean as far as first degree, second degree, because that I don't know. The investigation of these deaths were linked as, in addition to other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to one another within 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working sex workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had contact shortly before their disappearances with a person using a burner cell phone. Okay, there's a note here. Although the defendant is not yet charged with any crimes as to the disappearance and murder of Mrs. Brainerd Barnes as set forth below, defendant Rex Hoyerman is the prime suspect in her death and the investigation, which is continuing and expected to be resolved soon. Moreover, there is substantial evidence of defendant Hoyerman's involvement in the disappearance and death of Miss Brainerd Barnes, which evidence closely fits the modus operandi of the defendant in relation to the deaths of the other three women, which supports the current charges. As such, this bail application contains descriptions of that evidence, which demonstrates the strength of the people's case as currently charged. Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew were used by the killer. What? Oh, okay. Cell phones of two of the four victims, Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew, were used by the killer after their deaths. In addition, each of the four victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with three of the victims found wrapped in a burlap type material. Okay, so it's saying three of them, not all four. I gotta take a break. Gotta take a little break, y'all. Y'all still with me? Let me get some Gatorade. Oh. Okay. Okay, just making sure, because my my deal wasn't moving. I guess y'all are listening. Recent investigation. In January of 22, Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department, New York State Police, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. Wow. They put together a team, y'all. I mean, a team. On March 14th of 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered to defendant Rex A. Huerman at the time of these murders. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her killer. The discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Huerman, which consisted of 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal processes to obtain evidence. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for Huerman, corresponding to cell sites, locations for 1. The burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with 3 of the 4 victims. Taunting calls made to a relative of Miss Bartholomew. A call made by a detective to Miss Bartholomew's cell phone while looking into her disappearance. Calls checking voicemail on Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. In addition, Hewerman lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan, in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Bartholomew. As set forth more fully below, Rex Hewerman is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone and Miss Bartholomew's cell phone after their deaths. Both Hewerman and these burner cell phones had significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park, New York. I don't know if I'm saying that right either, so y'all New Yorkers, I'm sorry. The disappearance and murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Maureen Brainerd Barnes was last seen July 9th of 2007. I don't know why, but I believe this was the oldest case that they have against him. I'm pretty sure it is. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. July 6/07, Miss Barnes' phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. Between July 6th and July 9th, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Brainerd Barnes' cell phone. On July 9th, the last cell site location for Barnes' cell phone was at approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, the Brainerd Barnes cell phone had no further activity until July 12th of 2007. On July 12th, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Barnes' phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Islandia. Okay, hold on. Massapequa. Thank you. Y'all, he checked her voicemails. The disappearance and murder of Melissa Bartholomew. She was last seen July 10th of 2009 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3rd, she was contacted by a burner cell phone, and thereafter, her cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on the 6th, the 9th, and the 10th, which was the last day she was seen alive. On the 10th, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, the Bartholomew cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July the 11th at approximately 1:43 a.m. On the 11th, Miss Bartholomew's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. On the 11th and 12th, the Bartholomew phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from cell locations in Babylon. Y'all, are these places really close to Long Island? I'm assuming they are. On the July 17th, 23rd, 5th, 19th, and the 26th, The Bartholomew phone made taunting phone calls to Ms. Bartholomew's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was a male, and a relative of Melissa Bartholomew, in which the male caller admitted killing and sexually assaulting Miss Bartholomew. As described below, the cell site locations of the Bartholomew phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan, which is where Rex Heuermann worked. Yeah, but not really, because there's probably means that there is some tribal things that are related to that area. So this is Megan Waterman. Megan Waterman was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in, Halpega or Halpagee in Halpagee, New York, on June 6th of 2010 at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5th of 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone, which had just been activated that day. Remember, they found a lot of burner cell phones in his possession. Hop-og, or Hop-og. One or two. Hop-og 1, Hop-og 2. These names, y'all. Her phone was contacted by another cell phone that had just been Hop-og. Okay. Therefore, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6 at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time that Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn in Hop-og for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, cell site records show that the Waterman phone traveled to Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Heuermann. That is creepy. So this is the disappearance and the murder of Amber Costello. She was last seen September the 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112 American Avenue in West Babylon. During the late evening hours, at that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On the September 1st of 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber, Miss Costello's cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. On September 1st, 2010, this burner cell phone had communications with the Costello phone at approximately 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. During those communications, the burner cell phone connected to cell site towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Therefore, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with the Costello phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd of 2010. According to witnesses, around the time of these communications between the burner phone and Costello phone, a prostitution client showed up at Miss Costello's residence, located in West Babylon. After the client entered the home, a ruse was executed on the client, whereby a person pretended to be outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello, and the client left from the residence while Amber Costello retained the money the client had brought to pay for her services. Based upon interviews, that client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s, with a dark, bushy hair and big oval-style 1970s type eyeglasses. A witness described him to police as appearing like an ogre. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. Yeah. According to the witnesses, following the ruse, this client said he was just her friend, tell her I'll give her a call, and walked out the front door. Therefore, at approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message to the Costello phone which stated, "That was not nice. So do I get a credit for next time?" Phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of this text message being sent. Okay, good night, Nisi. Take care. So the description here mirrors the physical attributes of defendant Rex Heuermann, who was a large white male, 6'4" in height, excess of 240 in weight, dark bushy hair, wears large eyeglasses, who was 46 years old when Amber Costello went missing. According to a witness, later the next day on the 2nd, Miss Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in the house the night before with the avalanche. Further, Amber told us he wanted to see her again, but he didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend. Thereafter, on September 2nd, at approximately 9:32, the same burner phone from the previous evening again communicated with the Costello phone. During this communication, the burner cell phone used a cell site location in Midtown Manhattan. Of course it did. Following this communication and based on the cell site records, the burner cell phone traveled to Massapequa Park and had contacts with the Costello phone at approximately 10:39 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. Cell site records for the burner phone indicate that at approximately 11:17 p.m. the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Hi, Jean. Hi, Frozen. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked out the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. Records established that defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York for the disappearances of Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8th, defendant Heuermann's wife departed the United States for Iceland. On August 18th, Heuermann's wife was returned to the United States. That's in 2009. Consequently, Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance. Oh. I'm looking ahead. This is more cell phone stuff. Okay, here's a picture. Rex Heuermann's office was at 19 West 36th in New York. One of the victim's phones says so that they're showing the ping from the victim's phone to that location. There's a lot here, you guys. There's a lot here. I have not looked through all of this. Let me scan it real quick. So they're showing the connections between these pictures are the connections of these cell phones. But we can look at all this down the road. There was a couple other things I wanted to see. Wow. They've certainly got him in a cone with these cell phones. I'll show you what I'm flipping through here. Additional burner phones and online account activity. Over the course of the investigation, you coming up, Bubby? Come on. Serbs is about to land. There he goes. Investigators located a number of online accounts and burner cell phones linked to defendant Heuermann, but which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed recurring Google Pay payments made by Heuermann to Tinder. Oh, God forbid anybody was using Tinder when he was around. Online dating and geosocial networking application used to find dates or hookups within a user's immediate vicinity. Records were then obtained from Tinder, which revealed that the Tinder profile was set up in the name Andy, which was Heuermann's middle name is Andrew, with links to a burner phone, and they got the number, subscribed in the fictitious name of Andrew Roberts, using an email account Springfield Man 9. And the Springfield Man 9 account was established with AOL, you've got mail, on January 15th of 11 in the fictitious name of John Springfield with an Astoria, Queens, New York zip code using a different burner phone. Hey, Lori. I got to try to remember to attach it, Karen. I really need to try to remember. It's on documentcloud.org. I've got to try to remember to link it. Don't let me forget. Records obtained from Verizon showed that Heuermann's cell phone was used on December 11th, 22 for a period of over 3 hours to access this fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account. This is part of what brought him down, you guys, because he got a little sloppy and he used a Verizon phone to access an account that was set up on a burner phone, if that makes sense to you. And that burner phone was used on multiple dates, including November 8th, to access that account. A review of his call records for these two additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 21 and 23 for prostitution-related contacts, either sex workers or massage parlors. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones Hewer men used to contact the victims prior to their disappearances, these additional burner cell phones had frequent cell activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Wow. Here is the stuff that he used, that he looked for. We'll go over this real quick and then I will stop, okay? Because we're almost at a 2-hour thing. Legal process served on Google seeking records or accounts associated with device identifiers for these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection to another burner or junk email account called T-Hawk. Everybody's been calling it Thawk. You'll be hearing people talk about that, calling it Thawk. Thomas Hawk was the fictitious name used for that account. And a search warrant revealed that that account associated with this burner phone was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic, torture-related pornography, child pornography, including Mistress, Long Island, mature escorts, Manhattan, girl begging for rape porn, teen girl begging for rape porn, pretty girl with bruised face porn, torture redhead, 10-year-old schoolgirl. Can y'all read those? I may get a strike on this one. Skinny redhead tied up, short fat girl tied up and raped, Asian twink. I don't know what a twink is. These are there's a whole bunch of stuff. Y'all can go back and look. Oh, good Lord. Then this account was also used 200 searches between March of 22 and June of 23 related to active and known serial killers. The specific disappearance and murders of Barnes, Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello, and the investigation into their murders. So he looked into those 4 girls specifically. Why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by Long Island serial killer? Why hasn't Long Island serial killer been caught? Long Island killer, Long Island serial killer phone call. So that's the phone calls that he made to the family. Long Island serial killer update. Long Island serial killer update 22. FBI active serial killers. Serial killers by state in 23. I mean, it goes on. America's 5 most notorious old cases. So someone was talking about that where he used old would have been cold cases, and he used old cases. Currently active serial killers. John Bittroff, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes. And then there was a relative of Melissa and a relative of Megan. He even looked at where the cops launched the Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force. So that would have been something that he had heard on the news, right? Wow. Criminal Minds. Was this the Gilgo Beach Killer Criminal Minds? Was that an episode? I don't remember that being an episode. New phones technology may be key to breaking the case. He actually looked that up. Wow. So he searched for Long Island serial killer, and these are the things that he pulled up. They actually have the articles that he pulled up. Okay. That is all I'm going to do for tonight, you guys. That's a lot. And I'm sorry for some of those words. It is what it is. So, okay, let's go back to your comments. Yes, the Asian male was found in women's clothing in that area also. And they're trying to see right now if they can connect him to any of those. And we'll get into this later on down the road, but if you guys look it up, there is a map that shows you the beach area where they have found, because they continue to find bodies there, okay? So there's a whole stretch of that beach where they found bodies. And so the Gilgo 4 were right there. But they're saying there are possibly some connections to other locations. They're doing due diligence, you guys, and they're looking for places that he had what do you call it? What do you call that? Timeshare. He had timeshare places, and they're looking into that in Vegas. Another one was what? South Carolina? Was it South Carolina where he had spent some time? Um, they're looking in a lot of places right now, and now they're starting to get people that are going to call them. And this is going to be hard because they're going to get people calling them saying, what you're talking about matches what I got. So could your guy be our guy? There's probably a lot of that going on right now. Yeah, Vegas. Mm-hmm. Vegas, and wasn't it South Carolina? I believe. I watched something where there was a couple of investigative reporters that, and I'm not putting anybody down, but I don't know that I believe this ex-boyfriend, who supposedly is a gang leader of one of the girls that was found. I don't know if I believe that guy. It was on a program I was watching. I don't even know the name. A Killing Season, I think. This thing can get really, this is what I'm talking about, that balloon of this thing can just really get out there, when really, is it? I mean, I think there's 11 on that beach, if I'm not mistaken, and one in another location that is very close. And they actually found parts of that person on that beach. She was found in 2 places. There's a child. And again, like they said, there was a young man that was found also that was dressed in women's. He was a sex worker working in women's clothing. He was putting himself forth out there as a woman at the time that he was killed. So there's a lot of speculation, you guys. This thing is huge, but that's what some of the evidence is. We will get into it some more, okay? I have some things I have to do coming up this next week with Dad's house and things. My schedule, I'm doing the best I can to be here when I can be here. So y'all just bear with me, and I really appreciate you spending time with me. I know there's a lot of places you could be on a Friday night. So I appreciate you coming and spending time with me. Yes, I believe that's right. The DNA, they found DNA that linked the child and one of the women that was found there. Yes. And they found DNA from Rex Heuermann on a pizza box that he discarded in Manhattan, I believe. And they took that back to the lab and they compared it with what they had, and they have a match to his DNA from that pizza on at the victim. I don't know how many of the victims. We'll find out, won't we? Oh, you bet. You guys know I like hanging out. I like my true crime. I like hanging out. And I'm so glad to see you guys and get to spend time. See, it's my little escape too. The slice of justice. Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you, Frozen, for being here, and Karen and Sharon. Good to see you tonight. Oh, the Green Avalanche was at his brother's in South Carolina. Okay. And I think aren't they looking at that place too? Because the brother was living at his place. This place in South Carolina was actually Heuermann's, and the brother was living there, and the vehicle was there. That's what I picked up somewhere, if that's correct. Okay, where do we let me see, you guys. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can find this link for you, okay? Hold on. I should be able to find it again. I did. Let me see if it'll go. Somebody try it and see if it works. Because it always looks so weird when I put it in here on the StreamYard chat. It looks really weird. Yeah, there's some decent ones, but it's still speculation. You guys just keep that in mind. What I try to do when I come on is just to tell you what I'm hearing, and then I tell you how I feel about it. It's just me as a, okay, yes, it worked, good. It's just me as a, just like you guys looking into it. I don't pertain to know anything about any of this stuff, and I know nothing about the law. It's just me being interested, just like you guys, and us talking about it. So, all right. Yeah, you have to be careful about the podcast, you guys. Just be careful and know that it's a lot of speculation. And of course, they had nobody until this last couple of weeks, and so they really didn't know anything except little bits and pieces. Okay, this stuff just exploded this week with an arrest, and that's the way it usually goes. Okay, I'm out of here. I love y'all. Have fun today. At some point in your day, have fun. I hope that this has helped to um, distract you guys that needed a distraction, and just know that hanging out with us and maybe that was good. You did say hi, Lori, and I said hi too. Most of the time, Karen, yes, most of the time. Not all. There's some pretty good podcasts out there actually. So, and I don't have anything against podcasters because, well, we just can't relate. I can't tell you that right now. I'm working on something, okay? Anyway, love y'all. Have a great night. Have a good weekend. If I don't see you Sunday, I'm going to try, but you never know. And I'll see you later. Have a great night.